What's behind me is not important.
Hey everybody, my name's Tim. I am an HPDE instructor and track day enthusiast. I often get asked questions regarding track day events, which has led me to making this series of videos. What you'll see is a ton of comprehensive information as a collection of tips, tricks, and knowledge I've picked up along the way, as well as from research I've done on HPDE and my instructor training. There are few thrills in life as exciting as driving a track at speed. The number one goal is always good, safe fun. With that said, it's worth mentioning that there are risks inherent with performance driving at the track. Doing your homework beforehand can help mitigate these risks. If you have questions or other helpful tips or disagree with something I've said, please indicate so in the comments below. Whether you're contemplating your first track event or you have been to the track and are now looking to improve your game, hopefully you find this video series informative and it helps your HPDE event be successful and fun. This is video 3 in a series of 6. In video 2, I covered car prep, pre-track maintenance, driver prep, driver gear, car mods, and tires. This video will cover track day packing checklists, HPDE terms and definitions, what to do once at the track, track fuel, tire pressures, driver seating position, getting on track, track flags, track etiquette, and finally, carbon fiber wheels special care instructions at the track. What you pack will depend on if you are driving your car to the track, trailering it, or if you have a secondary vehicle going with you that can haul some bigger items. Your individual setup will determine how much support stuff you can take with you. I normally trailer my car to the track, but I have driven it to a local track a few times. So here we go with packing checklists. First up is if you are driving your car to the track. Your tech form. Don't forget to fill it out and have it signed before you show up. Driver gear like required clothing, helmet, HON, suit, gloves, shoes, and sunglasses. Tire pressure gauge. This is a good one that has a push button for letting out air. It works great unless it's cold outside. I use this one as my plan B for cold days. Window cleaner and paper towels. Toolkit with assorted hand tools. Folding chair. Sunscreen and hat to minimize exposure. Cameras, batteries, charger, power strip, and phone charger. Cooler with drinks and snacks. I freeze water bottles the night before. These are additional nice items to have when you are trailering your vehicle or you have a support vehicle to help haul stuff. Extra wheels and tires. Jacks and pinch weld pucks. Torque wrenches, impact gun, ear muff hearing protection, socket set and wrenches. Extra fluids, brake fluid, brake grease, engine oil, tranny fluid, and coolant. Brake bleeding tools. Extra rotors and brake pads. Come along with rope or trailer wrench to be able to get a dead car back into the trailer. Nitrile gloves, extension cord and rags. Duct tape, painter's tape, HVAC foil tape, and zip ties. Trailer keys and car key fobs, both your car key fobs, just in case one of your batteries die. It would be bad to show up at the track with your car locked in a trailer and not have your trailer keys with you. So I had a friend show up at a track day with his car in a trailer and his key fob was back at the hotel an hour away. Don't let that happen to you. Double check you have your key fobs with you. Battery powered compressor, but you can use your inflator kit in the trunk. Wheel chocks and hitch lock if you plan to disconnect your tow vehicle from your trailer. Trailer ramps to help with loading and unloading with pieces of wood for uneven paddock areas. Gas cans with your desired octane. A bit on fuel. Fuel is often available at the track, but not always. It is convenient to have fuel jugs by your car or trailer. You won't have to wait in line to get gas between sessions. You can track performance car on 91 octane, but the best performance will occur on 93. Unless your car is tuned for it, going higher than 93 octane usually is a waste of money. Don't use higher octanes that contain lead unless compatible with your car. If you run E85, be aware that you will be consuming fuel at a greater rate than cars on regular gas. Don't run out of gas on the track. It's time to talk HPDE terms and definitions. First up is paddock. It's the parking area for cars when not on the track, which typically has a low speed limit around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Go slow in the paddock area. Grid/staging area. This is where cars line up right prior to going on track. Pits, pit lane, hot pits. The lane where you enter and exit the track, usually with a speed limit typically 35 miles per hour, but can be lower. Slow is good. Hot pits is the lane adjacent to the track where cars can come in for quick things and go right back out on track. Blend line. It's the line extending out from pit lane onto the track to separate slow cars entering the track from high-speed traffic on track. This is a do not cross line. Treat it as though it was a concrete wall. Crossing this line is a quick way to get a black flag. The line or race line. The proper path you take around the track with the best lap time is the goal, using big flowing arcs and all of the track width. Turn-in point, where you begin to turn the steering wheel to enter the corner. Track out point. Opposite of the turn-in point, it is on corner exit where the car is starting to go straight again after the turn. Increasing radius turn. Radius of the exit is larger than the entry radius, allowing harder exit acceleration. Slower entry, faster exit. Decreasing radius turn. Radius of the exit is smaller than the entry. Faster entry, slower exit. Apex. Geometric apex or mid-apex. The geometric apex is located midway through the turn on the inside edge of the track. The geometric line is the widest arc we can take through a corner. A bigger circle will allow for higher speeds than a smaller circle. Early apex. In a normal 90-degree turn, the apex will be exactly halfway between the turn-in point and the track out point. An early apex is where the apex is before the halfway point of the turn. An early apex is often bad, leading to undesirable outcomes. Late apex. A late apex is where the apex is after the halfway point of the turn. Late apexes are usually desirable. More on early versus late apexes in video 4. Double apex. Two close enough turns in the same direction that become a continuous turn. Braking zone. The section of the track prior to the turn from where brakes are first applied to where they are released. For a beginner, the brakes are typically released just prior to the corner turn-in point. This is called straight line braking. Trail braking, which is a more advanced technique. Trail braking is carrying your braking into the turn. It allows you to delay brake application, keeping your speed higher longer. This means you will not yet have achieved your corner speed at your turn-in point. You will turn in while still braking, but trailing off the brake pedal as you wind your steering wheel into the corner. More on this in video 4. Threshold braking is braking at the limits of the car without locking up the tires. This is mostly applicable to non-ABS or anti-lock braking system cars, but also can be thought of as braking as hard as possible without triggering ABS. Chicane or S's. A series of left or right turns that are connected. COTA, Circuit of the Americas, has a famous set of S's. A throwaway turn is a turn where you sacrifice your line and or speed to be better set up for a subsequent turn. The most important turn is one that precedes a straight. You might have connected turns prior to the turn that leads into a straight that you must throw away to be better set up for the most important turn coming up. Blind turn. A blind turn is a turn you cannot see through the corner, usually due to elevation changes. Weight transfer. Your car's weight will move to the front tires through braking and to the rear tires through application of throttle. This also applies side to side when turning. Weight is transferred to the tires on the outside of the turn. Counter steering is turning the steering wheel opposite the car's turn to catch a slide or spin, often referred to as opening up the wheel to catch the slide. This is usually done quickly and corresponds to an equally quick reduction in throttle, followed with an immediate getting back on partial throttle so you don't unload the rear with weight transfer forward. Oversteer is when the rear tires lose grip in a turn, i.e. your ass end kicks out, and understeer is when the front tires lose grip in a turn, otherwise known as push. You turn the steering wheel, but the car does not turn as commanded. Maintenance throttle. Think of it as middle throttle, not slowing, but not really accelerating much. Just enough throttle with the goal to transfer weight to the rear tires to aid in rear end corner grip. It keeps the rear end planted firmly underneath you throughout a turn. Friction circle. This will be a quick simplified look at a friction circle. Let's say your tires have the ability for 1G of grip. This is 1G forward under braking, 1G aft under acceleration, and 1G laterally while turning, but not at the same time. This circle represents a maximum G the tire can produce without sliding, slipping, or spinning. You cannot have 1G of braking while simultaneously be turning at 1G. This is outside the allowable circle. Same with acceleration. You cannot be turning at 1G and be accelerating at 1G at the same time. This is outside the circle as well. To max perform a car, you would need to stay on the circle perimeter at all times. Last up for terms and definitions, Armco. Armco is an impact-absorbing barrier lining some tracks. It protects both spectators as well as drivers since it is not a hardened rigid barrier. Time to talk at the track. Show up early, offload from your trailer, empty your car, check under your seats and in your trunk. Remove your floor mats if they are not secure. Check in, sign the waiver, get ready for your first session. You will likely get a wristband and or a windshield sticker. Be prepared to be in a time crunch from the meeting or classroom session to going right out on track. The more you can get set up ahead of time, the better off you'll be and less stressed. Have your tire pressure set, car fueled, cameras mounted, windows clean, car empty, helmet ready, gloves ready, etc. Be early for the driver's meeting. Put your phone in silent, do not disturb, or airplane mode. Keep it there for the day. Getting a call while attending the driver's meeting or in a classroom session, or worse yet, while driving on track is never good. HPDE events can be busy and chaotic. It seems I'm always the first group right after a long-winded meeting when the track is going hot in just a couple minutes. The advanced driver group is often the first to go on track. It is common to go from the track to the classroom and back to the track. You will need time to check your tire pressures, get gas, hit the bathroom, get your gear on, and get lined up in grid for your next session. Regarding fuel, you will be burning a fair amount of gas at the track. Be prepared. Do your research beforehand whether the track has the octane you need on site. You might have sticker shock filling up at the track though. If the track does not have on-site gas and you don't have your own jugs, leave enough in the gas tank post-session to get to the nearest gas station. If you have a bit of a drive to the nearest station, you might miss some classroom time. The general rule of thumb is to not go out on track with less than a half tank of gas. This is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you don't want to run out of gas on track. Having said that, a Miata is going to use considerably less gas than a high horsepower car, especially if that high horsepower car is running E85. Secondly, if your car is susceptible to fuel cavitation under G-loads with a lower fuel level, you will want to go out on track with a fair amount in the tank. For my GT500, I fill the tank before each session, and on a high-speed track like COTA, I am out of gas in 20 minutes. Time to talk about tire pressures. Tire pressures are something you need to pay attention to at the track. This starts with track arrival. If you trailered your car, you will have accurate cold pressure readings right away. If you drove your car to the track, you might want to wait until after the driver's meeting or after the first classroom session before setting your cold tire pressures. Pay attention to how your car is oriented in the paddock. If one side is baking in the sun, those tires will have higher pressures. If possible, point the nose or the rear of the car into the sun, keeping the sides from being directly exposed. Or better yet, park in the shade. If this is not possible, adjust for the sun accordingly. More specifically, set the sun side a few PSI higher than the shade side, and your tires should get close to evening out on track. So why do we lower tire pressures for track driving? Track driving puts heat into the tires, which causes higher pressures. As pressures increase, tires have smaller and smaller contact patches with the track surface. Think of it as ballooning. We lower the starting tire pressures knowing that the tire pressures will increase while on track. If you recall the discussion on friction circles a bit ago, the contact patch of the tires plays a vital role in this. A warning about lower tire pressures. Be careful attacking curbs at the track while your tire pressures are low on your first lap or two. This can lead to tire and or wheel damage, especially with a heavier car. I personally wait until I see 30 psi on the dash for non-Hoosier tires before attacking curbing. I waited a little longer when I ran Hoosiers since 30 psi was my min cold pressure for the R7s. For your first track day, go with your owner's manual recommended cold pressure settings for the track if listed. There are big variables when it comes to ideal starting cold tire pressures. Some of these variables will be your car's weight, how aggressively you drive, which tires you are running, the temperature at the track, and the direction of the track, i.e. clockwise or counterclockwise. If you attack the corners aggressively and use a lot of brakes around the track, your tires will get quite warm and the pressures will shoot up. With your typical front engine car, your front right tire will likely have the highest hot pressure when running counterclockwise around the track. Your front left will be the highest when running clockwise. Typical cold pressures will range from mid-20s up to 30-ish. As the day usually warms, you will need to let air out of your tires between sessions. I personally don't try to set a uniform pressure after my initial setting in the morning. Instead of setting my cold pressure on each tire again before the next session, I'll take a uniform 2 to 3 psi out of each tire where they are currently reading. End of day tire pressures. Don't forget to set your pressures one more time after your last session. If you trailered your car and you put it right back into the trailer after your last session with hot tires, your tire pressures will be considerably lower when you go to get the car out of the trailer. This can lead to loosening of your tie-down straps and also scraping when offloading the car due to reduced clearance. If I come right off track and need to load my car, I air my tires up to 40 psi before loading into the trailer. Once they cool down, they are usually around 32 psi. If you drive your car home, set your pressures higher before hitting the road. Otherwise, your pressures will likely get low during your less aggressive drive home. This short section is for the GT500 crowd. All others can skip to the time listed below. For the GT500, the owner's manual calls for 28 psi cold. This is a good starting point. I personally use 36 max hot while on track for all tires other than the Hoosier R7s. More on the R7s in a bit. If I exceed 36 psi hot during a session, I lower my tire pressures by the amount I exceed 36 for the next session. I drive too aggressively to start at 28 psi cold for non-Hoosier tires. I exceed my targeted max of 36 psi hot. I typically start at 26 psi for Sport Cup 2s and Goodyear F1 3Rs. If it's real cold outside, I'll typically start a little bit higher on the cold pressures as the tires won't heat up so high. For Hoosiers, they are a soft sidewall tire and require higher pressures than other tires, especially in a heavyweight car. For cars over 3,000 pounds like my GT500, I set min of 30 psi and use 40 max hot. Set your seating position. Check with your helmet on to see if you need to lower your seat. Elbows should be bent, seat back should be upright, not reclined. A good beginner's guide for seat spacing is wrists should rest at the top of the steering wheel with your back firmly against your seat, not leaning forward. You should also not be reaching for the pedals. Your knees should be slightly bent. Adjust your mirrors. You most likely moved your seat from your street driving position. Adjust your mirrors accordingly, and it's a good idea to angle your side mirrors out a bit to reduce blind spots. If your mirrors were folded for transport in a trailer, be sure to unfold them prior to going to grid. Head to the grid/staging area 10 minutes before your session. The attendant will want to see your wristband and/or your windshield sticker. Your instructor will often find you in the paddock, but may hop in once you hit the grid area. Windows down and AC off before going on track. There isn't a specific rule against running your AC at the track like you find at a drag strip. However, you will be working your engine hard. I highly recommend you turn your AC off. I have a friend that opted to run his AC on a hot track day. His compressor stopped working and he had a long drive home on a hot summer day without air conditioning. Regarding windows, windows might be up if it's raining hard enough. Check with your organization. Windows down have a dual purpose. 1 for hand signals and 2 so you can be pulled out of your car by emergency crews if needed. Hand signals will be covered in video 4 of this series. In grid, I often have windows up and AC on. Don't forget these two things before going on track. Turn your stereo volume down to 0 unless the track is using a radio frequency to inform drivers. It's easy to bump buttons on your steering wheel to change stereo settings while driving. You don't need the distraction of your stereo coming on while on track. Also remember to put your phone in Do Not Disturb or airplane mode so that you don't get a call on track. If your phone is connected to your car via Bluetooth, it'll ring through your speakers. For those of you using a seatbelt at the track, here's a little trick. It doesn't always work, but it's nice when it does. Alright, the seatbelt trick. When it works, it's awesome. It doesn't always work. I tried it over on my driver's side, wasn't working, came over to my passenger side. I think it's going to work over here. But I have harnesses in this car, so I never use it in my car. I do it in a lot of my students' cars, or if I'm driving a different car, I'll do the trick in there. But the harnesses keep you locked to your seat. The seat belts obviously give until you, are coming into an accident type situation. Then they lock. You want to lock the seat belt to keep you tight against your seat. So step 1 is to move your seat all the way back. Grab your seat belt, hook in the clip, pull it tight on your lower lap there. Your upper strap here across your chest, take it all the way out, give it a jerk. You'll hear it ratcheting as it's going in. You know it's gonna work if you hear that clicking sound. Take it up tight against the chest, give it a jerk, hold it, it's now locked. Slide your seat forward to where you want to sit, and now you are locked into your seat, just like kind of like you have a harness. So you got that firm, good feeling going around the racetrack, locked into your seat. Check your brake pads and tires between sessions. Get down low and look at the inside edges of your front tires. Watch your wear hole indicators and look for cords. Brake pads and tire condition are vital at the track. If you have different display options on your dash, I recommend having your tire pressures displayed. I run with a TPMS screen on my dash. Tire pressures are important information on track, also vital for carbon fiber wheel health. I want to know early if a tire is getting low. Between sessions, be sure to hydrate and hit the bathroom before your next session. For tracks with noise limits, if your car is loud, know where the sensors are and reduce throttle in that area. You can also modify your exhaust tips with temp turn downs to angle the sound away from the sensors. This next section is for the GT500 crowd. All others skip to the time listed below. Set your drive mode to track, and I recommend auto shifting. You will have an advanced track amber light on the dash. Not to worry though, it is still on and operational. The computer just loosens up traction control and stability control, allowing for more wheel spin and yaw. Make sure you GT500 owners are switching your drive mode toggle and not your exhaust mode toggle. A friend of mine spent the entire day at the track in track exhaust with normal driving mode by mistake. The tranny will be shifting a lot more, putting you in higher undesirable gears, and your suspension will be set to a softer setting. Using auto shift will allow you to focus on your braking zones as well as your corner entry and corner exit points. I have learned to avoid pulling a paddle when wanting a different gear. Modulate your right foot to get the tranny into the gear you desire. If you accidentally bump a paddle or you opt to pull one for a different gear, you temporarily put the tranny in a semi-manual mode. It will only upshift at red line and will only downshift to prevent engine lugging. Double tap the M button to reset the tranny in normal auto shift mode. On to flags and flag stations. Competition race flags and HPDE track day flags have some differences, and you'll find slight variations between different HPDE organizations. Flags are often explained in the driver's meeting. If you have any questions, ask before going on track. Flags are used to communicate to the drivers. Seeing and understanding these flags is vital to track safety. Be sure to acknowledge flaggers with a wave so that they know you saw them. If they are communicating to you with a flag, complete the communications loop with a wave back to them. Be sure to wave inside the car so that the drivers behind you don't mistake your signals for something else like a pass signal. An example would be waving outside the car at a checkered flag. The driver behind you does not see the checkered flag and believes you are signaling for a pass. The rear driver then executes a pass and you potentially turn into them. Just keep your arm inside the car when not giving hand signals. Find occupied flag stations on your first lap or two while your tires are cold and you're taking it easy. Here's a look at the standard HPDE flags and their meanings. Green. A full speed session is underway the instant the green flag is displayed. When displayed, the green flag indicates the course is clear and the track is hot. When no flag is present at a corner station, this also indicates the course is green. Yellow. Standing, non-waving. There is an incident, damage, or something else ahead and it is considered less severe. Slow down enough to retain complete control of your car and continue around the incident cleanly. Do not stop, and passing is prohibited until completely past the incident or until you reach the next flag station not displaying the yellow flag, whichever occurs first. Yellow waving. There's an incident ahead that is considered more severe and may be directly in your path. Slow down enough to leave yourself plenty of options while also being aware of what's in your mirrors. Do not stop and do not pass. Double yellow flags are sometimes shown for emergency vehicles on track versus a white flag. Be alert for slow vehicles on track. Passing is prohibited until completely past the incident or until you reach the next flag station not displaying the yellow flag, whichever comes first. White. An emergency vehicle or other slow-moving traffic is on track. Do not pass emergency vehicles at full speed. Slow way down when approaching emergency vehicles. Some tracks will do hot extractions, meaning emergency crews are on track during a hot session. Give them space and don't go blitzing past them. A white flag may signify a slow track car, either cooling down or with an issue that is not at the same pace as the rest of the traffic. Be alert and use good judgment. Passing is allowed. The black flag, furled meaning rolled up. This is a warning from track officials directed to you. It means you did something the track officials didn't like. The furled black flag will likely be pointed at you. This sometimes varies with the organization, but no need to head into the pits for a chat. The furled black flag is usually just a visual warning. If you are not sure why you were given the warning, head in and ask the official so you don't make the same mistake twice. For an open black flag, the track official wants to speak to you about something you did, or it could be that there's something going on with your car that you may not be aware of. At your next opportunity, pull into the pits and ask the pit coordinator or grid captain what the issue is. You might see a waving black flag. This is just to get attention. This is a command from the track officials to come into the pits and speak with the pit lane coordinator. It may be the result of driver conduct or some other factor that had nothing to do with you. Maybe it's a mechanical issue with your car that you weren't aware of and could save you thousands. Pull into the pits for more information. A waving black flag is equal to a checkered flag. The session is over. I have seen black flags at all stations used to end sessions versus checkered flags. Lower your speed, don't pass, and proceed to the track exit. Checkered flag signals the end of the session. Come back to the pits or paddock area at the next opportunity. Some organizations allow passing on the checkered flag and some do not. Know your organization's rules. This is your cool down lap. Lower your speed to give your engine and brakes a cool down, but don't get so slow that you delay the start of the next session. If you miss the checkered flag and do another lap, you will get to chat with the track official. The red flag, the most important flag on a track. You will find red flag variances between tracks and organizations. Some will have you stop on track, while others will want all cars to come in. A red flag is super rare, but can happen. Know your organization's rules. The most common for a red flag is, danger, the session has been stopped. Come to a controlled stop on the racing surface and off the racing line. Make an attempt to park where you can see a corner or flag worker if possible. Stay in your car, do not get out. Do not stop immediately after a hill or a crest where you're at risk of getting hit from behind. When released by an official, proceed cautiously to the paddock area. Parking off the racing line gives emergency crews the quickest route to any incident scene on track, and it also gets you out of the way for any potential driver that missed the red flag. Some organizations will use red flags as a more serious all-course black, meaning they want everyone to head into the pit or paddock area. Know your organization's rules regarding red flags. Blue flag with a yellow diagonal stripe. There is a quicker car behind you. When you get to the next approved passing section of the track, initiate a point bypass to allow the car by. If you received a blue flag, it means you are not paying attention to traffic behind you. Let them pass. This is a common flag in the novice class. You should never see this flag in the advanced groups. Debris flag. This is a caution that oil or debris may be present on the track surface or a slippery condition may be present. This flag will be taken down after several laps, but does not mean that the condition has been resolved, just that the driver should now be taking it into account. The mechanical or meatball flag. There appears to be something mechanically wrong with your car. Proceed to the pits at reduced speed. Time to talk track etiquette. Be in control of your car, don't overdrive it. Be kind, respectful, and patient with regards to other drivers. In other words, be nice, play nicely. There are no NASCAR scouts at track days. Know where your passing zones are. If your passing zones are limited to certain straight sections only, there is no need to be on the rear bumper of a car when you're not coming up on a passing zone anytime soon. Give them some space and then close the gap to signal intent as you near the next passing zone. Lastly, listen to and follow your instructor's guidance. This next section is for people running carbon fiber wheels at the track. If that does not apply to you, skip to the time listed below. First off, a talk about carbon fiber wheel benefits. They are both light and stiff. They spin up through acceleration and down through braking more easily, and they don't flex in the corners. There are some considerations to be aware of though when running these wheels at the track. First off, don't attack curbing with low tire pressures, especially with a large amount of negative camber. You will stress the inside edges of your wheels. I wait until I see 30 psi before attacking curbing. Be sure to get a good cool down lap. Use manual transmission mode and downshift to minimize braking on your cool down lap. An additional cool down drive down the street or around the parking lot paddock area is beneficial prior to parking. This is nothing you're going to read anywhere, but don't come off track with hot brakes and park your car. This is vital to carbon fiber wheel longevity. Yes, the front wheels have a heat coating. They still cannot withstand multiple bakings of piping hot calipers on one spot on the wheels. This also applies to black flag sessions, where everyone gets pulled into the hot pits. Don't race in there, come to a stop, and end up sitting there for a while. Slow down in the pits and slowly creep forward, spreading your brake heat. If needed, head to the paddock area and keep moving slowly while waiting for the session to go green again. Now that I am an instructor, I am often coming off track from a driving session only to hop right into a student car for a session. Because of this, I now have a couple of battery-powered fans for my front brakes. I come right off track, get my fans blowing on my calipers, and then I can go about fueling, setting up pressures, or coaching students. Well, that'll do it for video 3 of the series. I covered track day packing checklists, HPDE terms with definitions, what to do once at the track fuel, tire pressures, driver seating position, getting on track, track flags, track etiquette, and finally carbon fiber wheels special care instructions at the track. Be sure to check out video 4 where I do a deeper look into track day driving, plus hand signals. Remember, if you have other tips, tricks, hacks, or disagree with something I've said, please contribute and add it to the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have fun at the track.